This FireKeepers Casino 400 Betting Picks 2025 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost, the bank account built for bettors. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code SGPN and get a free Refs Are Terrorists t-shirt. Claim your shirt at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/refs. We're also brought to you by Naira Bets. Get your $25 free bet for the Belmont by going to nyrabets.com/SGPN25, promo code SGPN.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome in to the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Keys, Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez, a day late, but never a dollar short. The books, they keep trying to play games with us, Cody, but we are not bending to their will. We will put our show out still, regardless of whether or not they're late and we're late and everything's crazy. But hey, first and foremost, thanks for taking time off of vacation to join us on the show. I'm sure everybody is grateful that you are joining us for this show.
Yeah, it's one of those things where we are on vacation this week, but stayed around the area, so still in the lovely garage here with my normal digs, and it's one of those things where I didn't really want to see anybody else get in my race car, Rod, and so I like to stay in the seat, and here we are, and this is an exciting race, which they all are really, anyways. But I got some picks that I want to give out, so yeah, appreciate everybody being patient. I know we had, not gonna lie, Rod. It was a little bit nice. Had some people reach out, had some DMs, had the Discord like, holy shit, where's the pick show? What's going on, guys? So it's nice to know that you miss us and maybe need us a little bit. So we're glad that we're a big part of your life and appreciate the love and support. So yeah, better late than never.
It's a humbling thing to see anybody, right? Because I mean, look, I get it that we're not super blast across the universe type of a podcast. We have our family and we love our family, but it is kind of humbling to see just one person at least say to you, hey, we miss you. Please come back. So I love it. Although, Cody, your seat is backwards, by the way. I just wanted to point that out to you. For those of you watching on YouTube, your seat is backwards. In the meantime, while you're...
I don't know what you're talking about, Rod. It looks fine to me.
Matt Jones checking in saying, yo, what's up, Matt? Nico saying it's been a while since he's caught a live show. Let's go. Antonio, hey, y'all. How's it going? It's fantastic. And JDK saying it's afternoon somewhere, fellas. That is absolutely correct.
It's always 5 o'clock somewhere, right? Is that the afternoon? Whatever.
It is 5 o'clock somewhere. It's not 5 o'clock right now in Michigan, which is where we are going for this race in particular, a longer track, a little more finesse that needs to happen and all kinds of crazy stuff. But yeah, listen, I'm excited for this one because we've run super speedway packages on the Xfinity side of this. So, this is a fast track. There's a lot of names that we're going to talk about today that I have to partake in my Stone Cold Broken Skull IPA to get through. Just so you know, this is me lubing myself up for the picks that I'm about to make overall.
I like it. Interesting on the Xfinity thing. They're not racing this weekend in Michigan, so I don't know. And like they're going to be part of Mexico next week, so it probably makes sense to give those teams more time to prep for that, right? But I enjoyed having more super speedway quote unquote races in Xfinity with this last year, but I guess they've decided against that, so too bad there. But that means we'll have a full Truck Series picks episode tomorrow, Rod. Yeah, that's right, the Truck Series. I'm so excited for the Truck Series. He's back, friends. Corey LaJoie. If you haven't seen the news, Rod, Spire might have traded him away in the Cup Series, but they said to themselves, who can win the championship in this 07 truck in the playoffs? And of all the people in the world, they picked Corey LaJoie. Great pick, in my opinion. So we're going to get a lot of Corey LaJoie in the Truck Series. All 12 people in the stands are going to be super excited to watch him in the Truck Series for sure. Maybe eating his words a little bit on that, but that's okay. Kelly checking in, Rod, searching for profit. Says, let's go, boys. First live stream in a while. Number 9 sucks. It's been rough for the 9 camp lately. Antonio hit on Raja for
that's not a fun way to talk about Grand Engineer. I'm sorry, go for
it. Brandon Jones isn't in the 9 anymore in Xfinity. It's fine. Antonio, the big hit on Raja. Hell yeah, let's go. D2 checking in. Need a sleeper to finish top 10. I have a big time sleeper for you that I don't think anybody's going to see coming for a top 10, mostly because Rod stole my favorite top 10 bet, but we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Hey, listen, I got to the dock first this time, so I was pretty happy with myself because I was like, yes, beat Cody to the dock. Let's go. But you know what we don't beat people to is the Stanley Cup. We are not there yet, but the finals are underway, and the Hockey Gambling Podcast folks are giving away an NHL jersey and a $200 SGPN gift cards. Well, they're giving away $200 in SGPN gift cards. Maybe not one, but maybe several. You want to answer that? It's a free contest over there at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Stanley Cup. Hockey does not exist for me right now because my Colorado Avalanche. Let's try to drink this.
Avalanche.
My Colorado Avalanche got bounced by the Dallas Stars. Go over, enter that contest. It's completely free. We may have a little something for you like that coming up here soon too, as well.
Yeah. Just working on it. In-season tournament coming up, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Nico wants to know if Corey over KFB in the 07. What is a KFB?
We don't acknowledge it.
I don't know. A KB has driven the 07 truck for Kyle Busch, but KF, I don't know of any KFBs. And D2, it is not Austin Cindric. Sorry, you'll have to.
I know what an FKB is, but although I will say, look, Celsius needs to update their commercial because Corey LaJoie is not a Celsius driver anymore.
No, he is. They updated it and they put him in the 01 finally. I saw that on the Prime coverage just last week because I was like, because same as you, I had seen they kept showing him, and it was I think the 7 car still, and it was like, oh, what are you doing? Like. But then they updated, and I saw him in the 01 made an appearance. So I was like, "Oh, let's go!"
Did they update?
I guess he's
did
back.
Did they update Tony too, and her truck? Because I keep seeing her in the 1 truck.
I wasn't paying as much attention to that, but maybe they updated all the drivers because it would make sense.
All right, so like we said, we are in Michigan for the FireKeepers Casino 400, or on some books, just the Michigan 400, because heaven forbid they even put the name of another casino up on their site, but.
Yeah, it's not even another sport.
I know, right? Come on, guys. Are you really that territorial that you need to get that crazy? But yeah, so this is Michigan, and we are returning to this track. Not a storied history on this track for sure. Kind of a newer track, as it were. Set for 200 laps around this 2-mile track for 400 even miles.
This track's been around for a while, Rod. We've had like 40-some Cup races at least.
Oh, I guess we have, haven't we?
But it's just once a year, so I mean, as far as like next gen stats, we only have the 3 races. These once a year tracks, which you've had a couple now with Nashville being last week, and then this, it makes it seem like we don't come to these tracks as much or haven't as long. But they've been coming to Michigan for a while, and it was, I believe, a 2-race track for a
I'm
time.
looking at it now.
But is just one.
Again, Cody, when you give us this much time off, my brain just tends to just float into the middle of nowhere. Here I'm thinking Nashville, not a lot of history in Nashville last week. This week, yes,
that
Michigan is a
true.
lot.
There was not a lot last week, but
If it's
yes,
anything
absolutely. So Michigan,
east of me, I don't know. I'm just telling you now.
which is
Exactly.
everything, I think.
Exactly.
But yeah, Michigan 2-mile track. So we don't have any 2-mile ovals. Auto Club RIP is gone. That was, basically a direct comparison track. We don't have that anymore. But this is a high-speed intermediate. Ryan over at iFantasy always calls Kansas mini Michigan because essentially they're the same track. Kansas is a little smaller to 1.5 miles. This is 2 miles, but they race almost identically the same. And on top of that, Vegas is another close comparison. We've been there already this season. But all of these, we're in a string of high-speed intermediates right now. Nashville last week, though it's only 1.33 miles, still a high-speed intermediate in concrete. So you got to take that into account maybe a little bit. But really, we're in the string of intermediates right now with that, Charlotte, Kansas, Texas. We're coming off of all these races in a row. Take out the All-Star race, which doesn't count. It's an exhibition anyways. And you've had 4 high-speed intermediate tracks in a row already. So we've kind of gotten a pretty good sample over the last few weeks of what we should get.
It's funny because the cookie cutter tracks, right? And the 1.5 miles and stuff like that, they were broken up so much last season. I don't remember a stretch last year where we got this many in a row of the same type of track.
In a row. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of crazy because, 1.5 miles were used to be the cookie cutter. And we had so many of them. A lot of them had 2 dates. We had Kansas or Chicago in there, Kentucky in there. Some of these tracks that are gone. Auto Club was in there, 2 miles, but same kind of track. Then they got rid of a bunch of the dates. But yeah, they did really string them all together here. So we're kind of right. We've got a lot of data to look at and a lot of races over the past few weeks here that are going to translate very well into what to expect this week. Just in time for a track next week where we have no fucking idea what to look.
Look, man, Mexico City is going to send us all. I'm staying up late night trying to figure out because there's F1 races obviously, and
it's not going to be Chicago levels of not knowing what to expect, but it's going to be fairly close.
No surprises really in the overall entry list in this one.
None, actually. 36 entries, Rod. Your 36 points pay in drivers.
I'm telling you.
That's the entry list. So nothing special this week.
Nothing special. Nobody fun to watch out for. No Corey LaJoie in this race, but he'll be on the Prime broadcast, which you can catch that one. Boy, I tell you, what did they bring Bubba? Did they bring Bubba a nice little cold beverage? Because I know Corey LaJoie took a sip of that thing like it was the last real American beer on earth. So,
well, that's the great thing. Because I don't know what network rules are and stuff with drinking alcohol or whatever, but on television or whatever, but this is streaming. You can do whatever the hell you want. It's just like us, right? You're having a beer right now. We can curse. We can say whatever. They can do the same thing on Prime, which, oh my goodness. I'm sort of sad that Prime doesn't just have it all because they're doing a great job so far, which I know that's a sore subject for some people who don't know how to do a 30-day free trial. But, it's literally free for all 5.
It is. It doesn't span.
That's another story for another day.
We'll talk about that. We'll keep that going in the Discord for sure. Where, by the way, let me do a quick plug for the Discord before I start to make a plug for all of our other sponsors out there. Holy hell. This thing has come alive over the last month. It's Cody.
Yeah, I used to try and keep up with every message and reply to everybody. So if I don't see something or be able to reply right away, you guys are killing it over there. It gets on its own little tangents sometimes. We recycle conversations we've already had, but it's a great place and just constant conversation over there during the races is insane. The amount of conversation, which we absolutely love. So yeah.
And apologies again I try to pop in every once in a while because obviously we got 15 million other things, and I'm like I don't even know what to respond to. There's so much going on, and I love it. It's a living, breathing thing. Go join it as well. All right. Well then, Cody, I feel like we kept these guys waiting long enough and gals waiting long enough. We'll set up some bets here in just a second, but I do want to take this opportunity to tell you about our friends over at Edge Boost. Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. There's no usage fees. There's no minimums. You can earn cash back rewards, and you get 100% approval for all of your betting deposits. Do yourself a favor. Go check out the Sports Gambling Podcast Twitter account. It's at Gambling Podcast. They've got a fantastic ad for Edge Boost. And if you don't want to sign up for an Edge Boost card after that, you don't have a pulse. And I don't know that I want to know you, but you're going to want to do it anyway. So sign up at edgeboost.bet today with promo code SGPN. And if you sign up this week, you're going to get a free Refs Are Terrorists t-shirts. Or I guess if you ask very nicely and set it up ahead of time, maybe you can get a Race Officials Are Terrorists t-shirt as well. Or in lieu of the Refs Are Terrorists t-shirt. So go ask. But in the meantime, you can sign up at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/refs to claim your free shirt. Cleaned up over on Underdog this week. There was so much good stuff going on. So many of our favorite drivers either let us up or let us down, and you can be in on the action as well because it's time for Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is going long for the NBA Finals with their extender bonus. Hop in in game one, and the longer this series goes, the bigger the bonus gets. We're going to give you all of our favorite plays at the end of the week with the DFS episode, so stick around for that. And in the meantime, sign up with our promo code RACESGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code RACESGPN. Bet the Belmont Stakes at Saratoga with Naira Bets. Sign up today using promo code SGPN25 and get a $25 free bet plus a $200 deposit match bonus. Whether you're a seasoned bettor or just getting started, Naira Bets makes it easy to jump into the action. This exclusive offer is just for the Belmont Stakes, so do not wait. Join now. Claim your free $25 Belmont bet today at nairabets.com/SGPN25. I wish I was better at betting on the ponies. I really do. I have zero. I mean, I'm glad that the Wolf of Oaklawn exists because I have no clue.
Yes. Yeah, I enjoy betting on the ponies. But yeah, I need help finding the right bets, which thankfully we do have guys like the Wolf of Oaklawn to take care of us.
That's why this network thrives the way it does, is because we've got people all over the place that know their stuff. All right, Cody, speaking of knowing our stuff, let's go to Michigan. Let's start setting up some bets for our friends over at Michigan.
Let's go to Michigan, Rod. We're going to start it off with the Corey LaJoy Carlet. Oh, wait, that's tomorrow's show. Shit, sorry. My bad, guys. Let me get on the right day. Okay. All right. Just kidding. I don't know if I'm betting Corey yet. I haven't done my truck research, but it's probably going to find a way into the sheet, Rod. All right. Let's start off with Sunday's race. Denny Hamlin, top 5, -110. I really like this bet this week. Denny Hamlin, we've gone through this stretch of intermediate races, right? And if you just go look at the results tab, you're going to shit yourself and be like, why the fuck would I bet this? Because the results have not been good. We know, if we've paid attention, how bad it's been. It's been brutal for him. But Texas was a mechanical issue. Kansas was a mechanical issue. Charlotte, he was, and just to back up, Texas was very early in the race. I don't think we saw much. Kansas, we saw that he was fast, and other than Josh Berry, probably the only person that truly could have hung with Larson in that ass whooping of a race. But mechanical issue early again, right? Sometimes it just happens. Back-to-back weeks was kind of crazy and insane, especially for a team like that. You kind of have to throw something like that out. It's not, if this was a Spire car that continues to have problems like that, that's probably going to raise some red flags. Like, can we trust that team? But you got to throw that stuff out with a team like this 11 team for Joe Gibbs Racing. Then you go to Charlotte, the Coke 600. He's going to be in competition to win that race. The fuel can doesn't get connected on the second can. They don't get the fuel in there, and so loses his opportunity. So you look at that two different ways. You could say, well, yeah, but look at all the problems, right? And you got to be there at the end to cash these bets, and I get that side of things. But we've seen the speed be there from Denny, and when the things that Denny can control are there for him, when the things that he can't control, I guess, fall into place for him, the things he can control are good and fast. And we saw that last week, right? In competition to win that race. Doesn't win, but easily a top 5 finish on the day, finishing in 3rd place. And that's what I expect from him here at Michigan this week. What has he done at Michigan in the past? 9th place last year is not a top 5, Rod. He did start on the pole here, however. And by the way, winner And I don't know, this bet disappeared. I saw it somewhere, but there was a bet that was the winner to start in the first 4 spots. And I saw Ryan over at iFantasy shared the winners come out of the top 4 spots 5 of the last 7 races of Michigan. So just an interesting nugget. If you see that prop pop back up, I'd maybe take a peek at it. But 9th place finish for him last year. But prior to that, 2 third-place finishes in the next-gen car. That's the 3 races we have here. But pre-next-gen, 5th and 21, 2nd and 20, 6th in the other 20 race. We had actually back-to-back days. We had races there again. COVID times were crazy times, Rod. But 2nd place in 2019, a horrible 11th in 2019 as well, 8th, 12th. But he's had some really, really good runs here. A couple of wins back in 2010, 2011, was when he won here. But consistency, he's been really good lately. All of the speed we have seen, and that's right, Kelly bringing it up. Did Denny have the baby yet? I don't think Denny's having a baby, but Jordan has got to have had the baby by now. If she hasn't had it already, by Sunday, she's going to have it, right? So we're going to have, she was due, I think, on the 1st. So are we going a full week after where they're not going to just get it out? Like in the day and age we're at with baby medicine, they can make those things come out, Rod. And I think the baby's going to be had. So he's going to have the baby bump by that day. So if you want to take him outright, maybe you can too. But I just like the top 5. It's easy, safer play on him. He's been extremely consistent here. And all of the speed that we've seen, he's been one of the best cars each and every single week at these intermediates. Again, the results aren't all there. We talked about why. I'm not worried about that. I think we're going to see a car like we saw last week, like we saw the week before, like we saw at Kansas. And he's going to end up with a top 5 at the end of the day. So give me some Denny Hamlin at -110. And D2 is saying -110 on a NASCAR bet. You don't see it too often, right? But head-to-heads, right? And sometimes on these positional ones, this is just one where, you could easily make the case for him to win like I did last week. But then you look back and you're like, man, he was so good last week, like we thought that he was going to be. And I was all in on him to win. And he doesn't win, and we don't get anything out of it. Here's an opportunity where we know he's going to be top 5, right? We know if things don't go wrong, which, again, that's for any bet, right? He's going to be a top 5 car at -110, I think.
And I was just going to back you on that one, too, because I would feel even more comfortable just knowing that I don't have to worry about a top 3. I don't have to worry about a win. All I want is for him to finish in the top 5, which is something Denny Hamlin is capable every single week. And -110, yeah, you're laying a little juice. I get that. But, it's a juice that you can drink because it is at least spiked with some sort of alcohol to make it go down better. But I'm with you on this one. I'll take your Denny Hamlin action, even at -110 for that one. All right. You ready for this? I told you guys in the Discord that I would speak of this man, and I am a man of my word. I feel like the books created this matchup just for me.
This should be, come on. I don't even think, I don't want to speak too much for Rod, but I don't think you have to pay Rod to use his name. I think you could label this on DraftKings as the Rod Villagomez special. I think Rod would be perfectly fine using his NIL for that at no cost, because that's what this is. This is the Rod Villagomez.
Take 2 drivers that I love the absolute most, pit them against each other in Mortal Kombat, see which one comes out on top. It is Carson Hocevar. It is Ty Gibbs in this corner. It's Carson Hocevar in that other corner. Who do I take? I'm going to take Carson Hocevar over Ty Gibbs. This should tell you the status of Ty Gibbs. If I am taking Carson Hocevar, who I have spent the last 3 to 4 weeks lambasting over Ty Gibbs. This is at this is at -150. I toyed with going full heel on Carson Hocevar and just taking Ty Gibbs because I felt like it would be the funny thing to do. But I'm here to give you responsible bets. And the responsible bet in this instance is Carson Hocevar over Ty Gibbs. All right. I understand that I've given Carson Hocevar a lot of crap, but I was going to buy, and I blanked out because I've just had such a crazy week going on. I was going to buy myself some like plastic flowers and just give Carson Hocevar his flowers because he has done great things over the last few. No, he hasn't. He's only finished 2nd in Nashville, for the love of God. Before that, 34th at Charlotte, 26th at Kansas, 24th at Texas. What are we banging the drum for? Oh, can't stand this guy. But his second place at Nashville makes it to where everything's okay. The world's better now because Carson Hocevar finished second, and he's got a pretty little gold car, whatever. But for the Ty Gibbs world, it's definitely worse, right? 17th at Dega, 23rd at Texas, 28th at Kansas, 24th at Charlotte, 31st at Nashville. At least you can say Carson Hocevar's had speed. The finishes haven't always been there. Ty Gibbs has not had speed at all. I mean, where is that 54 car? Nobody knows. I said at least 3 of the 4 Gibbs cars were actually making a run at Nashville last week, right? I mean, we were watching that happen in front of our eyes, but at the same time, it's like, where the hell is Ty Gibbs? And I think everybody wants to know where Ty Gibbs is right now, especially Ty Gibbs Nation out there. So I'm sorry, Ty Gibbs Nation, if you thought for 1 second that I was going to come onto your side for a change. No, I'm actually joining the dark side and going Carson Hocevar in that one. Kelly's saying, oh my God, Rod jumping on the Carson Hocevar bandwagon at minus 150. Look, man, something's bound to give. Ty Gibbs on this track, 10th, 11th, and 3rd. But that's when Ty Gibbs had promise. Ty Gibbs does not have promise right now, and he's really just not looking good whatsoever. So I'll take the guy that says he's the greatest ever and that he's got this beautiful gold car. Whatever. Give me Carson Hocevar over Ty Gibbs. Minus 150 even in the Rod Villagomez special.
Hometown boy, Michigan kid, Rod, already won at one of the local tracks there earlier this week in a late model, so you got to love that. Yeah, I mean, 2 of my favorite drivers right here, but I don't have an argument for this one. It's not been there for Ty lately. You know, I've wanted to try and find ways to bet on him, but man, they're just struggling, and he's going to snap out of it. It's all going to be okay in the end, but it's rough right now. So yeah, I can't really come up with any argument against this, so I'm going to ride with you.
But and that's the thing, how can you? Like, if you just, the eyeball test alone, it's not like he's getting caught up in these wrecks. It's not like he's getting caught up in all this stuff. I mean, Hocevar, to his credit, has had a few runs of bad luck, right? I mean, there's some things that have taken him out of races that he should have finished better than what he finished. I get that. But, you know, like I said, I am a man who can admit when it's time for him to move on from the hate. I haven't fully moved on from the hate yet, kids. Don't get me wrong. My Carson Hocevar hate has not stopped.
Yeah.
It's just subsided this week when I see a good matchup.
And something to bring up too, like I know Denny was all about like Ricky Stenhouse is going to wreck Carson Hocevar at some point in time. It's not going to be this week. First of all, 1 week after the incident, way too obvious. At this high speed of a big intermediate track, not going to happen. Mexico next week, if he gets a shot, maybe something like that. A shorter track, that's where he's probably going to dump him. You're not going to see him intentionally wreck him this week because that. And Ricky's got to be careful with that because he's got a lot on the line. He's not that far out of the playoffs. You get suspended for a race for wrecking him. Now you're not even eligible for the playoffs because they're not going to give you a waiver for that. You got to be careful with stuff like that. So I wouldn't be too, because I know somebody's thinking, well, what about this? Like, yeah, and maybe it happens, whatever. But I wouldn't not place a bet because you're worried.
But how many times have we actually said that, brought that up, and it hasn't really come to fruition? So I think those days are over.
And Ricky is probably the guy who's going to do it out of anybody. But yeah, like at this track in particular, going to be pretty hard, right? He might race him aggressively if they're even around each other, but God, the 77's been so fast. Is the 47 even going to see him? Who knows?
All right, we've spent enough time on Carson Hocevar. Please send me somewhere else.
Have we, Rod?
No, we haven't. I know.
Well, let's move on to my next bet, which is Carson Hocevar. I wanted to get in on Hocevar somewhere this week. I know D2 is bringing him up. He's only 20-1 to win. God, I wanted to bet on him to win this week, but 20-1 is so short for that car, a guy that's not won yet. I'd love to see it. I'll be celebrating as hard as anybody if he wins. I can't pull the trigger on him winning. His top 10 numbers cooked. It was hard to find a way to get in on him. So the way I'm getting in on him, fastest lap of the race, 18-1 over on DraftKings. Something like that I think would be, this is his home track. I think if he could lay down a lap like that, I think that would be something he would be very proud of getting. At 18-1, I like it. NASCAR does, I wish, maybe they do, but I've not been able to find a list of who had the fastest. They show you who had the fastest lap in the race because that's the person that gets the point. But I'd love to know who had the second overall fastest lap, and that might be out there somewhere, but I've not been able to find it so far. But you can see
you can sort it on the site.
Well.
Like if you go to the results and go to the raw feed, you can actually sort by how the laps were. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I need to look harder into that anyways, but you can see at least how many easily, I guess. You can see how many fastest laps they have throughout the race. And he's had fastest laps each of these intermediates. 9 last week, 11 at Charlotte, 6 at Kansas, 19 at Texas. So he's had a fast car. We've all seen the speed, right? We know the speed is there. We've seen him do well. Could he come out and just lay down the fastest lap? Is he going to try really hard in qualifying? Yes. Have we seen him already sit on a pole in an intermediate race? Yes. Is he worth betting on a pole? Probably not. Shout out to Chase Briscoe hitting the 40-1 for us last week. They priced him at plus 650 this week, Rod. So RIP to that bet. But 18-1, maybe he sits on the pole. And then we see a lot of times these fast laps are laid very early in the race, the fastest lap of the race, lap 1, 2, 10, and then it kind of falls off from there. So maybe he sets that early. You can cash this 18-1. It's a good way to get in on Hocevar. You're not overextending yourself. Even the minus 150 is tough and head-to-head sometimes. But, his top 5, top 10, just I don't love any of the numbers. I don't love the outright. So give me the Hocevar fastest lap over on DraftKings, 18-1.
I feel like I used up all the nice things I could say about him in the last one. So we'll just ride with you on that. I feel like this is the lesser of all the evils anyways, because I don't have to have him finish the race well, because God knows even if he finishes poorly, he can still finish better than Ty Gibbs. So I'm okay if he throws the fastest lap.
Maybe the 47 gets behind him, Rod, sets the fastest lap, trying to get away from him. Problem solved.
Hits the push to pass real quick just to keep himself ahead of the 47 car. I love it. All right. Well, I am going to take a guy that actually, if you look right overall at our friends over at iFantasy Race, they always publish the Michigan NASCAR Next Gen Averages, the finishes heat chart out there, and they've got all these other fun rankings and stuff like that. But one name kind of pops into view that you don't necessarily, and we've looked at him at a couple of times here and there. Daniel Suarez in that 99. It has been a very, very challenging season for Trackhouse in general, except for the one time Ross Chastain shine and the couple of times he was able to make himself a good run. However, Daniel Suarez, Shane Van Gisbergen, just not really bringing up the rear of this field. With Daniel Suarez, there's only been 3 top 10 finishes all season long. However, I believe he's due for one on this track. If you look at the heat chart in the overall finishes, Daniel Suarez is actually 9th overall, behind guys like Hamlin and Keselowski and Blaney and even Eric Jones, who Cody's going to talk about in a second. But Daniel Suarez, Daniel Jones, the quarterback for the New York Giants formerly, is sitting at 9th, right? So he's got a 25th place finish in 2022, 6th place finish in 2023, 8th place finish in 2024. So 2 top 10 finishes on this track for Daniel Suarez. We did talk a little bit about him, I think, in Texas, because he did finish 2nd at Las Vegas as well this season, and 10th at Texas. So 2 top 10 finishes in a couple of mile and a halves, which again, I know that it doesn't directly translate into this one. But I'm taking away the speed that he had on mile and a halves and that he can carry it through to a 2-mile track, especially one that he's finished in the top 10 a couple of years before. 8th place start in Kansas. So he had the speed on the track, unfortunately got crashed out of that and finished 34th. 16th last week at Nashville. I know not a top 10, but I'm telling you right now, for a guy whose average finish right now is 21.6, the few bright spots are the few bright spots for him. And if there's a track that you circle, it is this track, because you know that you've been able to finish in the top 10 on this one. And Daniel Suarez at plus 550 for a top 10, I feel like it's a really juicy number for a guy that's gotten it done the last 2 years and has got a couple of good solid top 10s at comparable tracks.
Yeah, I don't actually hate this. Rod's a bit of the Suarez whisperer. You're really good at picking out the tracks he's good at. And the tracks that he is good at are the ones he seems to repeat those good performances time and time again. We've seen kind of that pattern form recently with Suarez. We've seen speed out of the Trackhouse cars. Ross obviously has been extremely fast. even SVG has run fairly decent results, not always withstanding, but he's had some pretty decent runs here lately. And this is a track he's been great at. You're a week early. Everybody's going to be on Suarez next week in Mexico. It makes too much sense, right? The script might be out there, Rod, but I think that they might kick off pre-Mexico partying with a top 10 this week. And
I want a piñata party. That's what I want. I would love to see the 99 back in victory lane, especially on a track like this.
Can you? If Suarez wins at Mexico,
it'll be all oof. Oh my God. I want to go down there for that. Like, I'm sure I got family down there. I'd love to go visit them and watch Daniel Suarez win a race. That'd be fantastic. But yeah. All right.
There you go.
Okay. We're going to come back with more of our favorite bets for the Michigan International Speedway. But allow us first to tell you about our friends over at Circa. Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas is giving away the ultimate fantasy football experience for a 12-person league to draft in Las Vegas, baby. You're going to be treated like a VIP for your entire stay. You're going to get a limo ride from the airport, a $5,000 tab for stadium swim, and a hotel stay for you and your 11 league mates. And you can always get 50% off of all of the Circa properties with promo code SGPN15. So go enter that ultimate fantasy football contest for free at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CIRCA. You've heard us talk about Rhythm before, and they just dropped a game-changing feature called Power Trends. These are AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's model has consistently won and has a high ROI. Think a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line and win probability hit a certain range. Power Trends are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm. No touts, no noise. Well, I mean, listen to us at least. But all the rest of it, no touts, no noise, just clean, data-backed bets. Download the Rhythm app, check out Power Trends, and start betting smarter. You know we will be. Get your 7-day free trial today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Tell you about mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every single sport under the sun, and maybe even a few that you haven't even heard of yet. MyBookie is your place there, and you true DGens out there, MyBookie Money Bag. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. There's easy deposit, lightning fast payout using all that cryptocurrency that you've been stashing underneath your pillow. Okay, I know you can't do that, but still, if you're trying to do it, then do it. And you can lightning fast payout using crypto. Love me, the Canadian Football League. You know that the CFL season is underway this Thursday with my Ottawa Redblacks taking on the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Give me the Ottawa Redblacks on the money line even. I'll take them at plus 143, but also give me them plus 3.5 at minus 110 to beat those cursed Riders who took the name of the Ottawa Roughriders before, Ottawa took it there. It's still a sore subject for me. So go take that right now. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. It's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Come for the NASCAR, stay for the Canadian Football League. I love it. Oh, by the way,
right.
All
right, Rod.
I want to toss this out there. I did restart my Ottawa Redblacks podcast. So if you fancy an Ottawa Redblacks podcast, go look at the Wood Cookie Sawcast. It's out there.
Or if you just like listening to Rod's voice, which we all do, go listen.
And Justin Mark from the Old Fashioned Football Podcast and CFL Gambling Podcast.
Yeah. It's a pretty dynamic duo there. Justin, right behind Rod for favorite hosts.
I absolutely love it. All right. Favorite bets, though. Let's continue with those, shall we?
Yes, Rod. The top 10 market this week in Michigan. It's an interesting market. I can't say that I overly love it this week, and usually I'm the one that's got 18 top 10s to give you. You stole my favorite top 10 bet, which we're going to give out next, so I will go ahead and pre-endorse that one. But looking around, and I'm going back to an old faithful that's not been so faithful lately, but we haven't been on it anyway, so it's fine. It's not been hurting us. But I think now is the time for us to all heal together. It's Alex Bowman, top 10 plus 145. You look here lately, Rod. It's not been a lot of greatness, but Nashville last week, he gets caught up in something early. Shit like that just happens, and you start 24th and you play with the squirrels, you get your nuts cracked. We know how that works, but He finished 5th place at Kansas just a couple of weeks ago, where his teammate had a ton of speed. The Coke 600 was another story of just some issues. Same thing back at Texas. And really, it's been a rough stretch for Bowman. And he was a guy that we could count on. I think coming into this season, it was like 10 of the last 11 mile and a halves or something. Top 10 finishes. It was crazy, right? And he starts the season off great. He got it at Las Vegas. He got it at Miami. And then it just kind of snowballed and got a little bit out of control. He popped back up at Kansas and got it there. But I think that this is a good week for Bowman to get back on track. And you go back and you look, and it's not actually great looking back here either, but it doesn't tell the whole story. Again, 27th last year, but was running 9th in stage 1, had some issues. The year before, he led 19 laps, 7th and 5th in the stages, and then his steering gave out. So he finishes in 33rd. So just some stuff that's out of his control. But the year before that, he did have a 9th place finish here, and a couple of top 10s before that in the old car. So I don't have a ton of stats to back this up, other than we know Alex Bowman is a good driver. We know that he is a traditionally top 10 finisher. He's been on a little bit of a rough patch. That number has creeped up again. We're getting to plus 145. I think now is the time to jump back in on the bandwagon. Alex Bowman fixes things this week. And don't forget, just a few weeks ago, again, I talked about how good his season started, Rod. If you look at his results to open the season, the 500, he was 6th. Atlanta was 26th, okay, but then 9th at Coda, 7th at Phoenix, 7th at Vegas, 2nd at Miami. Holy shit, he really started it out before he had some of these issues. He was top 4 in the points at one point, and it was oh, look at Alex Bowman, all this. It fell off a little bit. Now is the time. Calling my shot this week. Alex Bowman figures stuff out. They get it fixed. He has been one of the most consistent guys on mile and a halves. You saw it pop up at Kansas just a couple of weeks ago. So again, when they can control the controllables, things are fine. And a plus 145 in a top 10 market that, in a general sense, I just don't love this week. I think that Bowman is a great
and I think really what the books are just trying to hedge on is that they know that they've been giving some very juicy numbers over the last few weeks with these top 10s, and people have been hammering them. So it's not, they're trying to hedge themselves, but yet still try to make a little money to entice you to do it. So I do like Bowman. Again, even if you're getting him at almost 2-1, it just feels like kind of a steal for a Hendrick driver that should do well this week. All right, well, you said you loved this one the most, and I jumped in and I do. Eric Jones, top 10, plus 240. Can't remember what book I found it, but you found it at plus 300 over on Bet365. So if you got Bet365, go over there, take that one. And
I think FanDuel was the plus 240.
I think you're right. So yeah,
FanDuel was quick with the top 10s this
They
week,
were.
Surprising. They usually are slow, so shout out to them for getting them up early, and they had some pretty good numbers on a lot of them. 365 did have a little better number here, but I'd take either. To your point.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so for Eric Jones, I mean, look, we've talked about our friends over at Legacy Motor Club being absolutely fast this season. Well, okay, maybe not blinding, maybe not as fast as Xfinity Mobile, but they're really putting themselves out there and running in the top 10, if not always finishing there, but they're definitely running in the top 10 last week at Nashville. Eric Jones finished 7th, almost cashed a top Toyota bet for everybody out there as well. Holding on to that one. I know you'll talk about more of that in a second. 5th over at Texas, 5th in Las Vegas. He started, finished 27th in that race, but still there's speed in that car. Look, overall for me, Eric Jones has proven to me that him and John Hunter Nemechek are in it to play this season. And there's no way that I'm going to ignore that whole thing, especially given the fact that I was talking about our friends over at iFantasy Race when they have the heat chart here for the average finishes. Eric Jones' name is 8th above guys like Kyle Larson, Bubba Wallace, William Byron, Joey Logano, Ross Chastain. Eric Jones has a better finishing average over the last 3 races in the next gen era than all of those guys, right? He has got an average finish of 11.3. Not a top 10 finish. I get it, but he does have 2 top 10 finishes in that span as well. An 8th place finish in 2022, a 10th place finish in 2023. 16th place finish kind of ruined that average. It could have been probably a top 10 finish if he'd just, finished a couple more places above that. But for Eric Jones, I mean, look, even Broken Wheel Bearing Podcast is agreeing. I love Eric Jones this week. He's been really good since Darlington. Legacy actually has shown some life lately. we talked about it earlier this season. Whatever Jimmy Johnson put in the water, put more, because I guarantee you that these guys, there's no quitting.
Is this like Space Jam, Rod, where they just write Michael Jordan's, they write Jimmy Johnson's water bottle on it, and everybody thinks it's
Superpower, and I don't care what they did. Like, even if it's a placebo, like I don't know, what did the guy do in Major League to hit more home runs? Like, if Jabu is there helping him get, I don't care what is helping.
Whatever
Yeah,
it is,
keep it going. And I love, like I said, Eric Jones, top 10. If you're getting him at 3-1, that's so much better, because I feel like, yeah, Legacy's going to have something to say in this race, and Eric Jones will be leading that charge.
Yeah, we were on him last week, 6-1. We hit the top 10. Obviously, they've cut that number in half. So hopefully you did get on it last week when we jumped on it early. But yeah, like Broken Wheel Bearing said, we've seen so much life out of Legacy lately. Eric specifically has been extremely good. I like this bet. It's going to make my best bets article for sportsgamblingpodcast.com this week. Not able to give it out here, but I will be giving it out there, which shows my endorsement for it, certainly. And yeah, I really like this bet. And actually, I've got another bet on him in a little bit that I'll talk about. But let's shift gears to his teammate, Rod, because Legacy Motor Club has been running good. John Hunter Nemechek, top 10 is 8-1. In a market that I don't absolutely love top 10s, this is one that I can definitely get behind. You look at his results here, only one start in the next gen era. That was last year, was 29th. Legacy was shit last year, honestly. Throw everything Legacy did out last year, it doesn't really matter. The other starts were back in 2020 in front row, 23rd, 36th. Hard to look too much into any of that. What's he done for you lately? What's he done in general? Well, 27th at Nashville last week was definitely a bit disappointing. He started out back, and it didn't, I was trying to remember, I think him and Keselowski had a run-in on pit road. Some other stuff happened. But prior to that, he had the 10th place at Kansas. Charlotte was, again, not the greatest, so we're kind of, every other race having some good stuff here. But Texas, 8th place. So 2 of the 4 high-speed intermediates we've had lately, Kansas, Mini Michigan, by the way, a 10th place finish, so you love that. And the 8th place back at Texas as well. So we've seen the speed. We've seen what John Hunter can do. We just got done talking about how great Eric Jones has been, how good Legacy's been, and the Jimmy Johnson water, whatever it is, everything is going well over there. They've shown a lot of speed. We saw a 6th place start at Charlotte where he qualified really well and had a great start. The result ended up not being there, but long race, 600 miles, all that stuff. But yeah, I think at 8-1, this is a great week to get in on John Hunter Nemechek. And then I was talking about a long shot top 10. Again, you kind of got to dig around and look for some stuff. I saw Ty Dillon was mentioned earlier. I always love his top 10. He's a guy that I'm kind of on consistently. But I am going to go to a guy we've not talked much about this week or this year, probably for a good reason, Rod. Justin Haley is 17-1. All of the steam, all of the love on Carson Hocevar, which I love because big Carson Hocevar guy here. But that's the same team, right? We've seen some speed out of McDowell. Now, they've had their issues. The Childers thing didn't work out for whatever reason, all that stuff. But this is the same team. They're a team that's got some speed, and it's not been great for Haley overall, right? 32nd in Nashville, 31st at Kansas, 30th at Charlotte. Those are not good results. But there's been some glimpses of some stuff, right? He had a 15th place at Texas. It's only 5 spots outside of the top 10, high speed, intermediate. Bristol, 13th. Hard to comp this to Bristol, but that is the intermediate package they run there. 24th at Darlington, okay, but Las Vegas, the sister to Kansas, a.k.a. Mini Michigan, 14th place. 10th place at Miami, another intermediate track that we've already been on this season. So while it's not been great, there's been some signs of life. This team has been fast and shown a lot of speed, especially in the 77 car. If they can just rub a little bit of that, maybe they'd relabel the water bottles for the 7 team to say 77 on them. I don't know, Rod. But whatever we got to do, let's get that stuff into the 7 car here. And like you look back last year here, a 20th place run. Is that a top 10? No, but that was 20th in Rick Ware Racing. Like, that's a pretty good run, right? He had a 17th here back in 22 in the Colleague car as well, and a 25th in the Spire 77 in 2021. That's basically a victory in that car at that point in time. So not bad runs by Haley here at 17-1. I think a guy that's kind of completely off the board, off the map right now. Nobody's looking at him. Nobody's paying attention. this could just be one of those random weeks where you pop up and you're like, oh, hey, look, he suddenly had a good run, like he's already done at some comp tracks this season. Also, Justin Haley could just be 35th all day, and you're like, wow, he sucks. That's a possibility, right? And that's why he's 17-1. But I think there's enough there in a tougher market if you want something longer shot. Justin Haley called a shot on Jones last week. Worked out pretty well. And, boy, it wasn't like he squeezed into a top 10 either. Like, he was a top 3 car half the day. So you love to see that. But, yeah, give me John Hunter, 8-1, top 10, and Justin Haley, 17-1.
Let the record reflect, I want no part of whatever's in the 77 cars juice box. I don't want any of it.
Wow, you do. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's. Can we recap the bets, Rod? Carson Hocevar. That was Rod's first. Not only did he bet on Carson Hocevar, he put it as the first bet on the card.
I'm drinking the juice.
He loves Carson Hocevar, whether he'll tell you that or not.
Yeah, you caught me. I am a closet Carson Hocevar fan. This is me just announcing the world.
Oh, Roger, Hocevar shirt's poking out behind you there.
Oh, you know what my favorite part of last night's or of this weekend's race was? Putting like throw up faces under everybody's Hocevar thing. That's my new favorite thing to do now in the Discord. So if you mention Hocevar's name, chances are you're going to get a pukey face underneath that from me in the Discord. Although you will not get a pukey face out of my next bet, and that is Ryan Blaney. Listen, our whole goal on this show is to make you money, correct? So if that is the goal, then we have to bring up names that are doing well, especially now. Daniel saying, I think Blaney, I'm running with Blaney again. Trend this year is Bell wins 3 in a row, Hamlin wins 2 in a row, and I think it's Blaney's turn to win 2 in a row. Look, I don't even need Blaney to win for this bet. I'll talk about him here in a second, but top 3 bet for Ryan Blaney, plus 230 still, even though 3 out of the last 4 races that we've run in NASCAR have resulted in Ryan Blaney top 3 finishes. Charlotte was the only one, and that was not a good day for him, or really anybody for that matter. 38th place finish for Ryan Blaney, not a good day for me choking as he crashed out of that race. But before that, 3rd at Texas, 3rd at Kansas, mini Michigan, yeah, top 3 there. And then, of course, he wins it all at Nashville last week. 7 top 10 finishes, 6 top 5 finishes, and that win for Ryan Blaney overall this year. I mean, what more do you need from this guy? We talked about earlier how, especially early in the season, when I don't know if the piano virus is catchable from Ty Majeski, but whatever was going on, I mean, Majeski is a Ford, so maybe it goes through from manufacturers and it just was kind of going through the garage. But whatever was happening, Ryan Blaney was catching it, and it wasn't good. Now that 12 team has shook it. They took all the antibiotics they needed to get it out of their tailpipe, and now they're a fast car again. And look out, because once you let these Penske guys, and not to mention, it's Ford's backyard, right? We're literally in the shadow of the Ford factories. And you know that Ford historically, I mean, they had a stretch of like a gazillion race wins here in a row snapped by Toyota last year. But I mean, it was Ford, right? It was, you could just pretty much tattoo that a Ford was going to win on your ass and it was going to cash. So now, I mean, I don't know. The Fords have been looking a little suspect until recently. So I think this resurgence of the Ford is coming in a big way. And I think Ryan Blaney will be a huge recipient of that, given that he is just one of the faster guys out there. Ryan Blaney finishes a 5th, 9th, and 18th on this track in the next gen era. None of those are top 3s, but he hasn't been running that well heading into them as of late. So I think his hot streak continues. And I think a top 3 is not out of the grasp of Ryan Blaney's reach this week.
Yeah, on the Ford topic, Rod, we're just going to go ahead and jump right into my next bet because I'm going to go to the top Ford market. I agree with you that Ryan Blaney is the best Ford right now, and I think that he should be the top Ford each and every single week. He's not really worth betting on that because of where his number's at. But you have to go back to the beginning of April. It is now June, by the way, June 4th, if you didn't know. You have to go back to the beginning of April at Bristol and Darlington for the last time you had the same driver finish as the top finishing Ford 2 weeks in a row in points paying races, Rod. That's quite a streak. Now, Blaney did it last week, obviously. Could he do it 2 weeks in a row? We haven't seen that in a while. Blaney's got more top Ford finishes than anybody else this year, as he should. That's why he's the favorite and he's been the better car. But it doesn't always work that way. And Ford, of all the manufacturers, we talk about it every week, is the one that's wide open. So I've got 2 guys that I like. Josh Berry's one of them. 8-1 over on DraftKings. You mentioned this being Ford's backyard. Ford's been really good here. I don't have it pulled up in front of me, but I saw the number earlier this week, and I think it was like Ford had 28 wins here. Chevy was next at like 12, like not even close. Like Ford, this is Ford's playground. They're from right here. And all of these guys are from Michigan, all this stuff, and it's all about Ford. So I think a lot of Fords are going to be good this week, and I've got a lot of Ford bets actually coming up. But Josh Berry is a guy I just cannot keep ignoring. 8-1. We have seen it out of Josh Berry. Las Vegas, the sister to Kansas, a.k.a. Mini Michigan. He goes out, he wins that race. Then at Texas, he's leading the race when he spins out, loses control, and wrecks. A 12th place run at Charlotte, had a great day. 6th place at Kansas. Rod, I was there in person. That car was just as fast, if not faster, than Kyle Larson. If he doesn't get that speeding penalty, he gives Larson a run for his money. That car was fast. Kansas, Mini Michigan. It is the same fucking track. He won at Las Vegas. He was 6th at Kansas and had one of the fastest cars. He's going to have that kind of fast car again. Bad finish last week. He got caught up in some stuff. Look, it happens, right? He's running a throwback scheme. First winner at Michigan was the 21 car, an all-white Wood Brothers 21 car. They're running a throwback to that car this weekend. It is going to be bad fast. Give me some Josh Berry at 8-1. And then Ryan Preece as well at 16-1, Rod. We've seen speed out of Preece. We've seen speed out of these RFK cars. I got a different type of K angle. I'll hold that for now. But not the greatest run last week in Nashville. 7th at Kansas. 9th at Charlotte. Good fast runs there. 3rd place at Las Vegas. Kansas and Vegas, lean more on those. You can look at all of these. Lean more on those two tracks than any others when you're comparing it to Michigan here. He's been fast there. He's got something to prove. He's in a strong points battle. 16-1 for as much as we see these top Fords. Like, it should be Blaney, yes, but how many times? And Kelly said it. His success rests on the pit crew. Well, they hit last week. What if they don't hit this week? JDK says don't buy the berry hype. I'm all in on the berry hype. It's too late. I have berry fever. I ate some berries earlier this season, Rod, and they've just stuck with me ever since. But Preece at 16-1, I really like. And then over in the top Toyota market, it's the same story. We talk about it all the time, right? Denny was fast last week, looked good, but how many times does the fuel not get in the car? Does the motor expire? Does this happen? Does that happen? Christopher Bell gets damaged. This happens. You don't always get the same ones up front. We just had this long talk about how good the legacy cars are. 20-1 for Eric Jones, the Michigan kid. 70-1 for John Hunter Nemechek. Eric Jones was the top finishing Toyota at Texas a couple of weeks ago. He was close to being the top finishing Toyota this past weekend, again, at Nashville. He can get this done. And I just mentioned home track. He's been really good here. You talked about the 16th last year. When Legacy was shit, he still finished 16th. 10th and 8th a couple of years before that. You go back to his second career start here in the 77 Furniture Row racing car. That used to be a team, Rod. Not even a team anymore. 3rd place finish in a brand like a secondary car. The 78 was a good car, but the 77 was never a good car. But he got it done here. This is a track that means a lot to him. There's a couple of Michigan guys, and I think really we're betting on all the Michigan guys actually this week. Spoiler alert for coming up. But this top Toyota market, you just keep hitting it because maybe it's Denny again, and we're covered on that top 5. But what if something happens to Denny? We lose the top 5. But suddenly there's John Hunter Nemechek, there's Eric Jones right there with that legacy speed that we've seen at these bigger numbers. You got to keep betting these guys every week because they have hit and they will hit.
Listen, again, you don't got to tell me anything about Legacy Motor Club that I don't already know and I love. So I'm with you on all of that top Toyota. And like you said, with the top Ford, these are really just, if something happens to all the top Fords, you're covering your bases. And it's not even without merit because Berry and Preece, like you said, have been fast. So I'm with you on that one as well. Bringing back my winning car number for this week because I'm a glutton for punishment, but I'm going to take the even side of this because the odd side of it is actually juiced. I want even at plus 130. So we talked about the fact that this has been Ford's race, right? For umpteen million years and everybody else doesn't come close. Well, there are 12 Fords in the field. 7 of those Fords just so happen to be even numbers. Austin Cindric in the 2, Noah Gragson in the 4, Brad Keselowski in the 6, Ryan Blaney in the 12, Joey Logano in the 22. Heavy hitters on that side of the of the line, I guess. And then Zane Smith in the 38, yeah. And Ryan Preece in the 60, even out that. So there's some heavy contenders out there to win this race in the Ford camp. And if a Ford wins, chances are it's going to be a guy like maybe Cindric, I guess, but Keselowski, Blaney, Logano, right? All those even number cars. And that's good enough as it is, right? But then in the even camp, you also get, you get Kyle Busch. Maybe you don't want Kyle Busch, but you get Kyle Busch. You get AJ Allmendinger, you get William Byron, you get Alex Bowman, you get SVG. You don't want SVG, but you also get Christopher Bell, right? And you get John Hunter, you get Ty Gibbs. You don't want Ty Gibbs, but let's just say there are some good outliers out there from the other camps that you get in the even number as well to kind of pair up with those odds. But again, you are getting a majority of the Ford field with three of probably arguably the best drivers in the field right now in Logano, in Blaney. I mean, I know it's odd year Logano, but for God's sakes, he's actually showing up once or twice. I mean, he may not win the championship, but he's running pretty well for what he is, right? So I'll take that along with like a Ryan Preece, like we said, and a Zane Smith who could accidentally sneak in a win, and a Brad Keselowski who you're you love yourself some RFK this week because you always do. And then Austin Cindric, right? So there's guys that are capable of winning this race. All of them are even, and I do like the fact that this is plus money for this one. So give me winning car number to be even at plus 130 rather.
Yeah, I don't mind this at all, Rod. I think you made some great points. You get some good drivers in there. Kyle Busch, I saw, Rod, we just crossed 2 years since Mr. KB has won a race last. Wow.
God.
Rough times for Rowdy Nation.
Yeah, unfortunately, for Rowdy Nation and Rowdy Nation in the Discord too. So, all right, well then,
yes, for both Rowdy Nations.
For both Rowdy Nations. If Kyle Busch isn't winning a race, who is, Cody? Who's winning this FireKeepers Casino 400?
Well, Rod, I did want to give a quick shout out. Shout out to Jeff. Jeff is listening to this. Jeff just subscribed to the channel, Rod. Now we're only 19 subscribers away from 1,000. So if you're listening to this and you're enjoying this, give us a little subscribe. Help us push that number over 1,000. It'd be great. Shout out to Jeff for helping us get closer, and everybody else that's already subscribed. All right, Rod, here's my outrights. Willie B, 9-1. I am feeling some William Byron here. He's just been good every single fucking week. Like it's the same story every week with Byron. In the mix, looking good. You go back to Nashville just last week, only led one lap, but starts on third, finishes fifth. He was up front all day. He took the lead for that lap, and then Blaney got him, and that was kind of the all she wrote, right? But he was fast. He looked good. He was in contention. He led 283 laps at Charlotte just a couple of weeks ago. I don't think there's 283 laps in this race, Rod. So he's looked really good. Texas, he led some laps after starting up front, fell back a little bit, but Darlington, 243 laps. We've had some dominant, and he finished second that week, so didn't quite get the win. Same thing with Charlotte, finished second. So he's due. He's had these big days. He's due to get a win. I think at 9-1 for a guy that has been hanging around, been looking really good. I like that. By the way, finished second place here last year, so maybe some revenge on the mind. DVP the year before, shit happens, right? But go back to 2021, even a second place finish that year as well. So Willie B's been pretty good here, and traditionally this race has been August, July, mostly August lately, when it's a little bit hotter later in the season before Willie B really starts kicking back in and doing well. We're still in the season where I thought he wouldn't be doing good, but he's still doing good at this point. So I do like Byron at 9-1. Christopher Buescher, Rod, you talked about the RFK love. I've got some RFK love. Chris Buescher is one of those guys, 24-1. You go and you look at what Chris Buescher's done here. 6th place run last year. Looked fast, looked good. He won this race 2 years ago. Had that late run in with Tyler Reddick. Held him off. Got it done. And we've seen enough flashes out of RFK. And Buescher lately has been the type of guy who just pops up and kind of gets it when you're not expecting it. This reminds me very much of when you gave Kevin Harvick out and I'm not comparing Buescher to Harvick, but you gave him out like 25-1 to win this race a couple of years ago. Out of nowhere, Ford hadn't won all season. They hadn't looked good. shit, he showed up that day, wins here, cashes that bet for you. Just kind of quiet the last few weeks, but 14th at Nashville, 8th at Charlotte. Those aren't bad finishes, not bad runs at all. Showed some speed earlier this year, 6th place at Miami, 13th at Las Vegas. Hasn't quite been there, but I'm feeling Buescher. He's got a good track record here in the past. The RFK angle I like, Rod. I'm going to extend that to his teammate Brad Keselowski, who's shown a lot of speed lately. Michigan native. You heard that story before. We're going to go back to it again here. So not only is he a Michigan native, Jack Roush, Michigan native, the R in RFK, Rod. Keselowski, Michigan native, the K in RFK. F in RFK, if you didn't know, is the Fenway Group. Part owner of the Fenway Group, LeBron James. LeBron James from Ohio. What do people from Ohio do? They hate Michigan. What do they want to do? Beat Michigan? He wants to beat everybody at Michigan and win. It's the perfect trio. I mean, come on. You can't even write stories this good. And we've seen it from Brad lately. Results have been iffy, but he was super fast at Kansas. He was 2nd place when he blew that tire and lost. 5th place run at Charlotte. The rest of the results sheet doesn't look great. So you got to suspend a little bit of belief with me here. But we've seen, I think, enough out of him speed-wise that if they can just put it together, and where does he want to put a race together better than this place, Rod? Nowhere. That's why he finished 5th here last year. That's why he finished 4th the year before. If Keselowski's going to pop up somewhere, this is the track we've seen. This is where, Hocevar, the speed's been there. Everybody's talking about it. Great. But the number gets cooked, and it's hard to bet on it. Keselowski, nobody's talking about it, but the speed's been there. We've seen the little bitty pieces that we can put together, and maybe they find that last missing piece, finish the puzzle, and at 31-1 for a guy who's shown speed, been good here, or 30-1, I guess, and put it together. I like Keselowski. And Josh Berry at 31-1. Don't need to rehash it too much, but he won at Las Vegas. He was extremely fucking fast at Kansas. He's looked good. That throwback car, 31-1, I think too good to pass up on. So in summary, 3 Fords, Rod, and all 3 of them actually longer shots. When Fords are on a week-to-week basis different, you're getting 2 guys who have been great at this track, 1 guy who's been good at this comp tracks coming up. I feel really good about that, and I'm feeling some Willie B, especially at 9-1 this week. Larson, you can always make a case for guys like that. The odds are short. It's tough. I was on Denny last week, but I feel pretty good about these outrights this week.
There are a lot of Fords, and we're going to keep that train rolling because I absolutely agree with you that I think a Ford, they got knocked off their throne last year by Toyota, and I think they're going to reclaim it this year. And they've got the horses to do it. I mean, this is not this little Mustang that could.
Man, Ford has just we're not used to Ford being this fast in the season. And we had this discussion in the Discord. Another great reason to be over there, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. But we were talking about that. I think it was JDK that brought it up. Haven't we had this conversation about Ford being so slow to start the season? And they have. But all 4 Penske cars, including Barry and the Wood Brothers car, have won this season. And it's been a mile and a half. Cindric has looked good. All of these Fords have been really fast. And RFK's been hit and miss, but Priest has had some really fast stuff like we talked about. Keselowski's had some really fast stuff. Buescher's kind of slacked a little bit, but that's why this could be the week. You're in the Ford backyard. I think we're both. Obviously, you're about to give out a couple of Fords, and sorry for stopping you, but I have a lot of emphasis on Ford this week, and I think it's going to be a very Ford-heavy week.
There's some narratives that you can just sort of dismiss because you're like, everybody's on that. So, but then there's other narratives that people are on because that's what you're supposed to be on.
Who's giving you the LeBron James narrative of RFK, Rod? Nobody. You only get that here at the NASCAR Gambling.
Nobody's letting you know where their next move is going to be and throwing chalk up in the air like Cody Zeeb out there. But you're right. I'm giving you 2 Ford drivers that I think are going to win this race and are completely mispriced for the fact that they are A, Ford drivers, and B, Ryan Blaney, who by the whole tokens has just won. So we talked about his stats earlier anyways. And, Ryan Blaney, he's won on this track, right? He had a 2021 win. He finished 5th and 9th in this race as well in the last year. I mean, last year was a 18th place finish, but he was leading 15 laps at the time. I mean, it's Ryan Blaney. I went over his stats. I highly think that if he's going to finish inside of the top 3, then he's probably going to end up winning this race. And if he doesn't, then he's going to make a very, very big run for it before it's all said and done. So 8-1 for Ryan Blaney is a huge misprice, especially given the fact that he's as fast as he is. And You know, it's like when Happy Gilmore learned how to putt. You got to watch out. Happy Gilmore learned how to putt. Ryan Blaney learned how to finish races in the last few weeks. Watch out the rest of the field because he's on it. Now I'm going to give you a pick that is 16-1. That is an odd year Joey Logano. And I know what you're going to say. Rod is an odd year Joey Logano. This is not how we do this. We don't bet odd year Joey Logano. I get it. But I will give you this. His most recent win on this track came in 2019. That is, by my account, an odd year. Now, granted, the last couple finishes haven't been that great for him here. 33rd last year, 14th the year before that. He did have a 4th place in 2022 and a 5th place in 2020 in that second race on there. And Joey Logano put together a year that makes you go, all right, well, it's an odd year Logano. It's not really all that bad. All right. 16.3 average finish, 12th place average start, 12.6, I suppose, if you want to get technical with it. But 3 of the last 4 races have been top 10 finishes, 2 of them top 5 finishes, 1 of them a win at Texas. So Joey Logano is running like this is an even year as we start to turn the calendar into the summer. And I think 16-1 for a Ford already is a misprice. And then 16-1 for a Ford that's won this race and has won a mile and a half within the last calendar couple of months is a total misprice. So I love me some Blaney at 8-1 and Logano at double the price at 16-1 to win the race.
Yeah, it's hard to argue against either of these guys, even Joey Logano, because he's been pretty consistent here lately after a horrible start to the season, defending a championship. Like, you're just like, oh my goodness, but he's looked good, and Ford and Penske have looked great. I don't have any arguments against either of these. JDK checking in as well says, take a Toyota for the pole 3 years in a row. Pretty watered down at the top of the board. Talked about Briscoe, Hamlin. They're really low. But I'm going to add an official play, Rod. John Hunter Nemechek, 45-1. Saw him qualify 6th at Charlotte a couple of weeks ago. We hit Briscoe 40-1 last week. Let's reinvest a little bit of that money in Mr. Nemechek.
Can't argue with Cody on the pole bets, especially when he's cashing you 40-1s before you even get to the race. That's how good he is. All right. Well, get out your pen and paper. It is time to go over our bets for this FireKeepers Casino 400. And for those of you on the YouTube crowd, get to the screenshot ready as the graphic is now on your screen. I started you out with Carson Hocevar over Ty Gibbs at -150. I'm sorry, I had to choke back a little bit of something in that one. Carson Hocevar over Ty Gibbs in the Rod Villagomez special -150. Gave you Daniel Suarez as a top 5 or top 10 car rather at +550. Eric Jones as a top 10 car at +240. Ryan Blaney as a top 3 car at +230. I said the winning car number would be even at +130. And Blaney is an even number car at 8-1. Logano is an even number car at 16-1. Cody gave you Denny Hamlin as a top 5 car at -110. He said that Carson Hocevar would be the fastest lap at 18-1. Alex Bowman, top 10 car at +145, not ±145. You can take the plus side of that one. Sorry, graphics guys, you're fired. Nemechek, top 10 car, 8-1. Haley, top 10 car at 17-1. Top Ford would be Barry at 8-1 or Priest at 16-1. Top Toyota, Eric Jones, 20-1. John Hunter Nemechek at 70-1. William Byron at 9-1 to win the race. Chris Buescher, 24-1 to win the race. Brad Keselowski, 30-1 to win the race. And Josh Berry, 31-1 to win the FireKeepers Casino 400 over at the Michigan International Speedway. All right, Cody. That is it. That is Michigan. I know it took us a little while. I'm sorry for those of you who are waiting and need us to get through the week.
Yeah, thanks for being patient. We appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow, Rod, talking Carson Hocevar again, talking Corey LaJoy. I think Chastain is in the truck race. It's a pretty loaded truck race. So pretty excited to talk about that. No Xfinity this week, so full Truck Series episode tomorrow. And then you'll be back on Friday, Rod, talking DFS underdog picks. I am going to miss that episode due to some family plans for the rest of our vacation. But make sure you tune in and check out Rod and whatever. I don't know what he's going to cook up for that show. But I will try and post some fantasy stuff over on the YouTube shorts as well. So pay attention.
Indeed. Well, Cody, let everyone know where they can find you out in the real world as we close up this shop.
Yes, Rod. You can follow me over on the X at Husker_Zeeb. You can find all my stuff over there. There's a lot of it. Racing stuff. I talked about my article for sportsgamblingpodcast.com for NASCAR Best Bets that comes out every week. Got some other stuff cooking up for that. NFL previews are starting, Rod. I'm going to have a series for all 32 NFL teams, my 3 favorite bets for each team that's coming out for sportsgamblingpodcast.com. I have a Stanley Cup final stuff up over there. I know game 1's going on right now, but you can still check that out. Check out my picks there and get in on those bets, stuff like that. And it's always stuff, arena football stuff. There's always a good mixture of everything over there. So check it out. Appreciate everybody. Subscribe to the YouTube. See you guys tomorrow.
Indeed. Follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. Link in about everything I got going on, whether it's here. Make sure you're checking out In Between Media, as me and Seth and Elliot will be breaking down Michigan for you tomorrow night or Thursday night or tonight, wherever you listen to this or however you listen to this. And like I said, listen, I started up the Wood Cookie Sawcast again because I love the Ottawa Red Blacks. I miss talking about the Ottawa Red Blacks. If you want to hear some CFLs talk and some me just talking about my favorite Canadian football team, go give it a subscribe. Wood Cookie Sawcast. I greatly appreciate it as well. All right, like Cody said, we'll see you tomorrow for the trucks. And in the meantime, everybody, stay safe out there. Let's go racing and let it ride.